Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 28 of um, Salty Sports Show. Um,
There it is.
so we have the first episode since truly, I guess, because the last one was technically after, but like it truly the end of football season, and it's kind of the start of a shift to something different. But the off season comes quick, and
Miraculously.
um,
And we always find ourselves still talking about football.
yeah, because free agency and the draft. It really goes down after April once we get into May. But
Yeah.
yeah, so here we go. Free agency is on the horizon. But first we got some big moves. So Steven, with my regret, you already know, but I must remind you
Yeah.
that Mr. Better Owner than the McCaskies is staying in the NFC North.
Uh,
Uh
well, not a big surprise there. I mean, it was. I feel like you could kind of tell he was gravitating towards staying because you got to realize this is Aaron Rodgers and commitment is not in that not in that guy's vocabulary. So really, any hate he had for that team was probably quelled before the season even started.
yeah,
So
he's just like, yo, they're giving me money, they're giving me a bag, all right.
I'm not still not sure how the Packers are going to maneuver this cap situation because as far as I'm concerned, they're going to have to give him like a $160 million signing bonus to be even close to it. I don't even know how this is going to work, but I mean, Godspeed to them, I guess. But I mean, as a football objectivist, it's obviously a very good move for that team since he is their best option at quarterback, and they're very much a win now team. They're probably the biggest win now team of any contender in the NFL because
Big
I wouldn't say they're built on a house of cards, but
dollar.
their future pieces are not too strong. Without Rodgers, that team is definitely not nearly as good
Especially
as
especially
they
with
are now.
especially with the retirement of Tom Brady. Like it's absolutely
Yeah, that's true. NFC is more wide open now, so
yeah.
they
Well,
were
more
they
more
were the
more the win now part because yeah, like
yeah.
Brady was inherently more win now just because he was older, even though he was
Well,
defying
yeah, but the
time.
Bucks. I mean, the Bucks were like. I feel like the Bucks are still a younger team. I feel like they're built for the future more than the Packers are.
I don't know. Because the Packers, I mean,
I
the Packers' defense is built very nicely for the future, but I guess you can say that about the
well, they're
offense.
okay, yeah, but like I don't know. I feel like defense is a little bit of a house of cards tactic in the NFL. You win on offense, you do not win on defense.
Fair enough.
Without Aaron Rodgers, that team is not cracking
But
500, and I
anyways,
love a lot of their pieces on defense. So
but
yeah, let's not get too far ahead of
but
ourselves. But
anyways,
I
yeah.
mean, obviously, a good
So,
move for the
but anyways,
Packers. We'll
yeah.
see what happens with Adams.
Good for Green Bay. And with that, they have absolutely, there's no reason, things can happen during, in the build of the season. But as of right now, I mean, they've reasserted themselves as a pretty easy favorite in their division and should be in a good push again to take the number one seed in the NFC. But will they actually make it past the NFC Championship? Well, we don't even know that. But yeah, great for them. Keeping him around sucks for me. Um,
Sucks for me too, man.
but anyways, a corresponding move, a team that was
Sucks for me, dude. I mean, apparently Tennessee was one of the spots if you didn't go to Green Bay. I guess that was like a top three. I saw yeah, I mean, and there was so much hype around it too. Especially in my area. Like it was a daily trend to see either Ryan Tannehill or Rodgers because that's what all the local radio stations are on about. It's like, oh yeah, what's gonna happen to Tannehill if Rodgers doesn't come here? So like, yeah, all that hype for literally nothing.
yeah, and
Waste of total
yeah,
waste.
but anyways, kind of going on. Corresponding another team that missed out on Aaron Rodgers, probably, one team that really wanted him, the Denver Broncos. I mean, their head coaching hire seemed very Aaron Rodgers focused. They pivoted very quickly from Rodgers, and they went out and they got themselves Russell Wilson out of Seattle, which is the end of an era because they, I believe it was in the same day they released Bobby Wagner, who's hitting the free agent market, and those are the two centerpieces of an era in Seattle gone. All that's really left is Pete Carroll, and even then, he's
He's on the chopping block very soon.
yeah, he's
The writing's been on the wall for Seattle for like 3 years now, and Russell Wilson trade rumors have been around for 2 years. So this is like no surprise, obviously.
yeah. The only thing,
But yeah.
because the Bears made a very aggressive push a year
Mhm.
ago. Seattle turned it down though, but this time, um, obviously, it seemed that the Commanders were also interested. However, Seattle did not want to trade Russell Wilson to another NFC team. Uh, and so they, instead of taking 3 first-round picks, I believe, from Washington, honestly, I would argue that the package that they got was better. They got 2 first-round picks from Denver, including the number 9. They got Noah Fant, very solid tight end, a guy that can be a top 10 tight end, maybe could rise a little more. Just trying to remember. There was another player. I'm just trying to remember which one it was.
Yeah, I can't. It was a very loaded trade. Like Seattle got a lot in return.
They got Drew Lock. Obviously that was a quarterback that's coming back, and then they got
Wait, they did?
yeah,
Really?
yeah,
Huh.
and they also got yes, now I remember they got a 2022 second, a 2023 second, a fifth, and Shelby Harris, which is I would call that a very very good package to get back. Um,
For a team that's now like officially, kind of confirmed to be in a rebuilding state.
yeah,
Especially too now that they're trying to get over this Jamal Adams trade that really screwed him over the last 2 years.
yeah, and actually their
This is
pick
a good way to get it.
the pick now that they got from Denver actually jumps the Jets pick that they have from Seattle. Obviously, the Seahawks would absolutely rather have pick 10 and 9 right now, but
Yeah.
you know, things do happen. Um, and so I think that this is a win-win for both teams. Seattle gets to rebuild, and this is a good time to rebuild. The rest of their division is really competitive right now, and this can enable them to come out really strong in the long run. The writing was on the wall, and I think it's a good move. As for Denver, um, this is a strong move to assert themselves as a power in the AFC, because the AFC right now, as it stands, I mean, it's really the Chiefs, the Bills, and the rest are kind of jockeying for position who could knock them off. Even though the Bengals went to the Super Bowl last year, you can't really going forward. I can't confidently say that they're going to compete at a level with those two teams, the Chiefs and the Bills.
Yeah, especially that. I mean, they get to compete with their own division because Baltimore's coming up healthy again. And that was one of the.
Well, Baltimore also has a lot of question marks, and I would honestly argue more in the Bengals at this stage.
You could, but we'll see. They both have a lot of solutions already, but need more. But the point is with the Broncos, this is a chance to become, a strong threat in the AFC. They could be. I mean, I'm not sure if I'd necessarily go as far, but you could say that with getting Russell Wilson, the team they already had outside the quarterback, and with Hackett at head coach, they could be the third best team in that conference right now. Are they for sure? No, but they can be. As for so it's an interesting set of moves there.
Yeah, I'm not there just yet on that salt, but this is. I mean, the Broncos are like a perennial 500 team with a bad quarterback or like a mid quarterback. Russell Wilson, again, he's got some injury concerns and he's aging, but when he's healthy, we all know how good he is. So that immediately is going to catapult them into that competitive range. I'm not sure I can confidently say they're better than the Bengals or Chargers or the Ravens if they're healthy even.
I'm not saying
But
confidently, but I'm saying it's possible that you could argue it. I'm just
even the Titans with their division. I mean, it's just there's a lot going on, but this definitely, I don't know, like the change in a team when you get a quarterback like Russell Wilson is so enormous that it's honestly like I feel like we can come back to this video in like a year and laugh at it if it goes mildly well.
yeah. We'll see. Like I said, it's not a guarantee, but I feel confident that the Broncos will be a playoff team.
No, I
Um,
understand.
so I guess we'll go to we'll talk about a couple more big moves out of the NFC East. First, we were talking about the Commanders and their interest in Russell Wilson. They were also interested in Deshaun Watson, but based on the current state of the team PR wise, it was never a possibility. Um, so you go from Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson, and you decide, we need a quarterback. We need something better than Heineke. Uh, we need a quarterback that he was good, and you could say this guy was good, but he's not good anymore. They got Carson Wentz. They gave way too much, and they took on way too much salary, and it's hilarious to me.
I mean, it's the Commanders, man. This team is so desperate for a quarterback. Like, if you have, like, I honestly cannot imagine like, I don't even know if I'd still be watching football if I were a fan of this team and had to watch the talents they've put throwing the ball in the last like 5-6 years or so.
Yeah, Link, normally I'd ask you, how does it feel to have Carson Wentz as your division rival's QB? But I already know that feeling, and it's great.
It really is. And now, this is this is really excellent news to me because now the Colts are, still one piece away from being playoff contender. Now they're missing the quarterback once again. As I don't think, I mean, I'm not sure about the draft so far. I mean, I don't know if they're
They're
ready.
they're interested in Jimmy Garoppolo and Jordan Love.
Well, I'm glad this post Andrew Luck quarterback revolving door that Indianapolis has going on. Like, I'm glad it's working out for them. I mean, what was it like 2 years ago? They had Philip Rivers, and then I mean, how many names have they put out on the starting quarterback role?
Honestly, it wouldn't be so bad if Philip Rivers didn't retire last year, like retire this year instead. But it's pretty bad.
Yeah, and that's a shame too because there's a slew of talent on Indianapolis that could definitely deserve better.
Yeah, there absolutely is, and you wonder because it's been a good deal. I mean, it's not, how players age in the NFL. It's not going to be so. There's not going to be that much time before you need a quarterback that carries that core, or else you're going to go the way of, I hate to say this, Steven, but like the Trubisky era Bears defenses and supporting cast just.
This is why if your team is built without the quarterback as the centerpiece, it's a house of cards. Like it's you're done for if you're got a middling front office who's just chilling, which is basically what the Commanders have.
Yeah,
And
and
I wouldn't say the Colts have that, but I'd say they're flying in some dangerous
I will
airspaces,
say
put it mildly.
Credit to the Colts for not going sunk cost fallacy on Carson Wentz and keeping him because of how much they invested into him, and they got a ridiculous amount back. And apparently, it came out that the Commanders' initial offer was a fourth and a sixth. So good on the Colts for fucking strong arming the shit out of them into
Yeah.
getting that much of a price tag. Um,
Too bad they traded first for him, and then immediately,
Yeah, but like I said,
really, yeah,
good on them
yeah.
for not going sunk cost on Wentz, and going somewhere else. And a lot of reports coming out about Wentz and just him being a shitty
Oh yeah,
teammate.
I was gonna mention that. Yeah, like the Colts said they were like out on him even before the last two games, and those games were like the pivotal like wild card playoff hunt for them.
Yeah, and
And it was, yeah. I mean, it's a
and
whole
with what
thing.
happened in Jacksonville, his fate was sealed. And it seems like Urshay didn't even want to touch him anymore. And when to get that much back, when it seemed like they were so intent on getting rid of him, they would have been content with releasing him. Jesus Christ, that is a good negotiation right there. Um, when the Commanders really should have had the leverage to not give up that much, but they did. And I guess we'll go on now to well, if anyone has any last things to say about this move.
Nah, not really. Pretty small.
I feel like no one wins.
I think
Well,
I think the
no
Colts
one
are
wins when the Commanders are involved.
well, I think the Colts are clear winners here, but they're winning by losing less rather than, like I said, they aren't going sunk cost, and that's a win in my book.
Well, before we get really depressed, keep talking about Carson Wentz. Should we move on to the other NFC East move?
Well, why would I be depressed? I'm happy actually.
Well, not for long.
Yeah, so the Cowboys, they might be run by a loser named Stephen Jones.
All right, buddy.
It is he's the one going to the media and talking about how he's and being all non-committal on the future of Amari Cooper, and it's pissing me off. And it looks like there's a very good chance that he can be released, possibly traded, but looking like he's going to get released. And I am just, what the fuck? It's one thing if you want to release him at the salary. I feel like you should be in good faith and restructure his contracts. Um, keep a key player around. But you know what? Let's just release Amari Cooper, and then give two players big money who happen to thrive off the spacing Amari Cooper gives them. Now I know they're going to thrive off spacing that CeeDee Lamb can give, but like more weapons is better, and I just don't get it. We can open 30 million in salary without cutting a single player, and I'm talking about getting like 30 million under the cap without cutting a single player. So why the hell do you feel the need to cut Amari Cooper and then invest so much into Gallup, who hasn't been a 1,000-yard receiver since 2019, and Schultz, who he's solid, but he lives off the spacing he gets from having so many other good weapons around him. Why are we placing the franchise tag on Schultz and not Jaron Kearse, who played like a top 10 safety last year? And I mean, like, outside of Micah Parsons and Trevon Diggs and, the two edge rushers, maybe you can argue he's more important than Gregory. You could make a good case that that's like his level of importance to that defense, which is really high. He's that good of a player, and I don't know. I just hate that we're like, if we're getting rid of Amari Cooper, why are we investing so much of that money back into like two players who are just above average in their positions? No, just use it on the guy. Keep the guy that can play elite football. I don't care that he had a down year. That's not his fault. Steven, Jones, Jerry Jones, who they have their history of interviewing with the coaching staff. Wouldn't surprise me if they tampered with Kellen Moore and told him to make him a decoy so his production goes down and then they can justify cutting him. It's like, what the fuck? Keep him around, restructure the contract. There's better ways to move salary, like what we're rumored to do, which is trade Leo Collins, which raise up by being like something 15, 17 million. Like Leo, because we have Terrence Steele who can play right tackle, strictly right tackle. He fucking sucks at left tackle, but right tackle, I'd be more than happy to have him there. Trade Leo Collins, and continue. But instead, we're just creating needs for ourselves on draft night, and that's just stupid. We have too many needs in different spots that I just don't know what we're gonna do, and I don't like that. Um, Honestly, it's a joke that we do this with Amari Cooper. that we're so set on releasing him. Like, can you at least try to do your due diligence and not be desperate to get rid of him? Like, maybe, shop him on the trade market. I mean, the Falcons got a second round pick for Julio Jones, who was coming off an injury riddled year. Why can't you? And he was on a big contract, so why can't you do your due diligence and shop Amari Cooper? If you have to, hell, like, if you can get a first round pick, even if you have to absorb some salary, if you can get a first round pick by absorbing some salary, you can get like something good, like multiple seconds. I don't know. Try to get something back instead of piss away all of your leverage in any trade. Like, it's disgusting. And what they're going to reinvest the money in is disgusting to me. It just feels like they're not trying. It's like, there are teams that get around the cap by being smart, and the Cowboys are getting around the cap by being a dumbass, and it pisses me off. But I don't know. I don't think they're going all in to win this year. I think that's just how I view it, and it's kind of sad because you should be going all in to win every year if you're in the situation the Cowboys are in. But I don't know. Pretty dog shit if you tell me. But I we go from one trade that one move on. We go from one former Raider to the next. Another one of Big John.
Hold on. I want to just real quick before I start getting depressed. Should we mention some potential suitors for Amari Cooper should he be released? Because
Okay. The
this is
Bears.
the guy. Yeah, that's my great segue into saying the Bears should get him.
The Bears, the
I guess just
Patriots, the
profiling on him.
Jets.
Yeah, no, there's some really good suitors for him, and I guess just profiling on him real quickly here. I mean, he definitely still has that wide receiver one upside, and the transformation in Dallas was just night and day. I mean, just he was so unbelievable. Just that half season salt. I think I imagine you still remember it. He was outstanding,
Yeah,
and he still got that upside in him, and he's still pretty young. He's like what
27.
26? Oh,
27.
27. Like 27. Yeah. So I mean, this is a guy who still got that wide receiver one upside, and that's what I thought the Cowboys might have been doing. Of course, that I don't know. This is they're always a team who makes a lot of weird moves with a lot of good moves. So it just makes your head spin. Um, and I thought they might just want to like try to just try to facilitate that money elsewhere and not just put a wide receiver one at a wide receiver two. For that diminished value, but it's weird circumstances for sure, but definitely a guy who's gonna get that wide receiver one treatment for sure. But moving on, I guess, to my sadness. Uh earlier today, Khalil Mack got traded to the Los Angeles Chargers for a second this year and a sixth next year. At first I was pretty upset with this trade. I think anyone would be upset with this trade because Khalil Mack's just been, you don't talk about the Bears, I'll talk about Khalil Mack because he's just been the face of the team for what 3-4 years now. I think it's only been three. That's just crazy to think about. That he's only been here for that short amount of time because it really feels like he's been here his whole career. Um, but it's the move that Poles wanted to make. He showed up. He knew this roster had some major pitfalls, and I'm not saying Mac was one of them, but I am saying that he saw opportunity for growth in trading Mac. I think the return for him is about what you'd expect for a guy who's his age, who's aging, and who's coming off a kind of a bad injury. Kind of the Julio Jones situation there, although I'd say Mac's riskier, honestly. But that's debatable. I really could see it. It's kind of a toss up, I think. But I think they're pretty similar. But this move at the heart of it is to get the Bears some extra cap space and to restructure the roster a little bit better than they can. So, um, I think it was probably bound to happen, and I think we were just a little bit, just I think in football it's pretty easy to just kind of like tune out most of the noise, but looking at the writing was kind of on the wall from the start of the offseason or since Poles was hired. And it is clear he does want to change this roster in some pretty significant ways. So, yeah, there's your first domino to fall, I guess. But
Yeah,
that's really all I got on it. Chargers are now it's gonna be electric watching him and Joy Bosa. I'll just say that though. That's gonna be a hell of a duo.
yeah, for sure.
The entire AFC West looks like
A battle,
Yeah, the
maybe.
AFC West is yoked.
complete
The Raiders are gonna be like Raiders are like an 8-9 true talent team in a crappy division, and they're gonna be like 6-11 because of how great that division is.
You know, if I were the Raiders, I'd kind of blow up the team, but that's a
Dude,
discussion for
like no,
another
they
day.
literally have to. They literally were they're being forced into it at this point.
well, I mean, there's
It's a
still like
shame. It's a shame Mark Davis is so stubborn.
is there still like a big question mark on Carr this offseason?
It seems like they were
Or
trying to extend him, but I don't know. The Browns might be knocking.
that's what I've heard. I mean, I guess the Browns are already like, well, I would too after this year. I mean, the Mayfield experiment was pretty good for what 2 years.
Yeah, 2.5 years,
Yeah, but I
something
mean,
like that.
Fiasco.
Um,
Um,
So yeah, and now I guess we have some franchise tags that went on. Chris Godwin got tagged by Tampa Bay, um, so they'll be keeping him in the organization for another year.
no surprise there.
Yeah, pretty hefty, but that's just the way they go. Cam Robinson got tagged again by the Jaguars. I do not understand this. Um,
I'm interested to see how they're going to use him in ETN because this is going to be funky.
I don't understand you, Trent Baalke. Like, do you have an IQ? Uh, that will be determined someday. Um, Dalton Schultz got tagged by the Cowboys. Not particularly happy with that. I would have rather tagged Jaron Kearse. Um, as expected, Devontae Adams got tagged by the Packers. Um, Orlando Brown Jr. got tagged by the Chiefs. Um, Jesse Bates got tagged by the Bengals. And David Njoku got tagged by the Browns, and Mike Gesicki got tagged by the Dolphins. Lots of tags on tight ends.
Interesting.
Kind of surprised that Njoku got one, but that's how it be. Um, but yeah, those were the tags, and obviously we can do some predicting for free agency because we probably will not release the next episode until some guys are signed. So let's look at some of the top guys. Let's get your thoughts. Teron Armstead, left tackle. Where do you guys think he'll end up going?
I'll let someone else start this. I think
Uh,
Link might be the one to, or
who
unless Saul,
was
you want to
it?
go. Teron Armstead.
I pass. I got nothing.
so the rumors right now are Miami and Jacksonville. I think it'll be the Jaguars.
Okay, two teams that have not the best
Major
offense.
tackle issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I'm seeing Miami more than Jacksonville in this one. I think Jacksonville should probably focus on getting it through the draft. Miami, um, they played God with their draft capital too much. I think Armstead is falling into their lap, and they got to go for it.
Yeah. That sounds. I feel like that was about to say. I mean, Miami's still has a decent shot at a playoff spot this year. So I mean,
yeah,
they would try to get through free agency. I don't know the Dolphins' cap situation, but they should be able to. They should.
both teams are flush with money.
Oh yeah, then I don't think it's gonna be a bidding war. I think I agree, Steven. They should just go through the draft because
Yeah,
I think the Jaguars, if they don't need to get through the draft and just get Armstead, why not? So I think they're gonna go all in and get him.
I could see it honestly. It's tricky because the number one pick in this draft could just be so many different guys.
And I think signing Armstead gives the Jaguars the freedom to do that. Do something different. Maybe get Kyle Hamilton. Maybe get
Mhm.
Aiden Hutchinson, who's the betting favorite right now. Um, so yeah, we'll see. Um, Next up on the big board, I'm looking at PFFs. Von Miller. Where do you think Von Miller's going?
Ooh, that's a
Honestly, it's
uh,
kind of hard to see him leaving Los Angeles. Maybe it's just me, but
considering considering you just won a Super Bowl there, yeah. But I mean, I think I'm trying to think defensive line. I mean, he's a great veteran on the defensive line. I think that could really help a team that's struggling right now. Um, who am I thinking of? It's on tip of my tongue. I can't think of anything. Dang it. Um,
Maybe this could be. I would call it. I would call it an intriguing fit. Um, I would say maybe Von Miller could go to. Maybe he could go back to Denver.
I mean,
that would be interesting, but I mean,
Look at
I
this.
don't know if you'll accept the deal there.
Well, they're no longer rebuilding in Denver.
Yeah, but I mean, they did just kind of they didn't they just kind of just trade him.
yeah, I think he's got too much of a weird relationship with Denver because they weren't like. I mean, I don't even think they were rebuilding when they traded him, and I think they were just mediocre, and they just thought he was too old. Like that, they just didn't think
Well,
it was worth keeping him around much longer.
the Rams just gave them too much a good offer, too good to refuse.
Yeah, but I mean,
Exactly. That's why it's just hard for me to see him leaving LA, especially after winning a Super Bowl there. Like that just really that's the nail in the
So, do
coffin.
you think he'll stay with the Rams?
I do. Yeah, I'm pretty confident
What are
saying
you
that.
thinking, Link?
I don't know. I'm
Also, if Aaron
thinking.
Donald retires, I think the Rams will get more desperate.
I think maybe Philly, perhaps. Not entirely sure.
I don't know. But yeah, I'll say I'm gonna go with the hot one. I'm gonna say he goes back to the Broncos.
You do you, buddy.
Chandler Jones.
Man, I don't even want to project where Chandler Jones is going to go.
I have no idea, honestly. I mean, like,
Old edge rushers are just impossible, especially since he's kind of regressed a little bit in the last few years.
yeah.
It's really tricky.
I guess,
Don't see him staying with Arizona, but honestly, I have no idea where he could go. I think he's
yeah.
kind of in the JJ Watt boat where like teams will be interested in him, but it's just like you're not getting what he used to be, so you got to settle with something. So it's just tricky to determine that.
All right. I guess we could just go to the next one. Not wait. Excuse me. J.C. Jackson.
Really solid corner, definitely proved himself this year. Um, hmm, I would say I'm trying to think which teams really need corner help here. I want to say the Bears. I don't think they'll spend on that much. I don't think they'll go all in on Jackson. But man, it is a bit tricky. There's a lot of fits for someone. Someone go ahead of me because I don't want to waste too much time here.
There are teams that need to make cap room, but if Dallas can commit to making enough cap room, I think we can be in on him. I can't say that's a hard prediction. The Bears could be a spot. Let me look at some of the cap, like maybe the Indianapolis Colts could make a move for him. I think the Chargers would actually be a very good spot as a prediction. So maybe I might rock with the Chargers as the team to do it.
How much space do they have this offseason?
The Chargers, as it stands right now, they could make more. They have 24 million.
That's pretty nice. So
How much space
even
do
with
they?
Khalil Mack, yeah, that is pretty nice. Yeah, I could totally see them being 99 because their cornerback room is not very good. To put it kindly.
How much room do the Bengals have right now? Because that's where I'm kind of thinking right now. Because they're another team that I could see taking like a corner.
Um, the Bengals they also have a lot of cap. They're over 20 million.
I think they go for it.
Yeah. All right. We'll look at a couple more just to Bobby Wagner.
Honestly, I kind of want to say he's going to retire, but I think he'll take a 1-year contract, play somewhere. Bears are a legitimate fit I could see for him. I mean, I know they do not want to hitch themselves to any more aging players, but Wagner's such like a low risk signing because he's only going to get 1 year, and the Bears' linebacker group is so bad that you could not possibly get worse having him alongside Roquan Smith.
Yeah. What about you, Link?
Well, I was gonna say, I know how Dan Quinn is with them. But
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe Dallas, but yeah.
I don't think they have the room to say. It's kind of hard to say because I may be able to see him go to a division rival.
Ooh, which one?
I think the Niners maybe the fit for him.
They do have
Yeah.
Warner though.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I think I could see him go to Dallas, but I don't know. But let's just go through some quick ones. Allen Robinson.
I'm stepping out. You guys take him. I don't care. I don't care enough. He can go to China.
Maybe
He was on my fantasy team last year. That's how I know who he is.
Oh, my condolences, Link.
Yeah.
maybe he can go to Cleveland. I don't know.
That'd be hysterical.
They
Do I
replaced
feel like
him.
some people are going to say he's going to come back here? No chance. 0% chance.
No way he wants to be in Chicago again.
Yeah. He is so out the door. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
He's like one of those weird players who like could be wide receiver one, but not in the wide receiver one tier right now. I would say, or like
Yeah.
solidly in there. And the market for that is pretty tricky. Like I think last year that was like Kenny Galladay, and we all know how that worked out for the Giants. So I don't know.
All right.
It's
What?
pretty tricky.
All right. Randy Gregory. I think he'll go back to Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's good enough to really be like leaving that place.
Link.
I agree.
All right.
Stay in Dallas.
Jadeveon Clowney. I don't know what's gonna happen, but
I honestly,
maybe the Bears. I could see it be the Bears. I don't think he'll demand that much money, so I could see it be the Bears.
I just don't know though. He had a pretty. He had a what he got. I know he got injured. Like what was it? The what was it? The second to last game, something like that.
Yeah.
And he had an all right year. I don't really remember much about his stint in Cleveland, but wasn't super miserable. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really know either, honestly. He's just one of those guys who's impossible to predict.
Yeah. Guess we'll just do a few more since these are kind of hard. Stefan Gilmore, where do you think he'll go?
I think he'll go back to the Panthers,
I think he'll go to
especially with J.C. Horn.
Yeah,
I feel like he's like a home run cornerback too signing.
I think they should bring him back, but I think he's going to opt to go to the Rams.
I could see that.
Link.
I think he's going to go to the Panthers.
All right. Carlton Davis, where do you think he'll go?
He's a guy. If I see the Bears signing a cornerback, I think Carlton Davis is probably a sneaky pick there.
I think he could go to the Cardinals.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good pick. Really, any team that needs cornerback help, I mean, he's going to be at the top of the list. So
Yeah.
there's so many to choose from at that point.
All right. Tyrann Mathieu. I think it'll be the Ravens.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Safeties are also hard to predict for free agency, especially Matthew's good. He's consistent. He's just not like a top end guy. Hard to like, kind of like I guess where HaHa Clinton Dix was a few years ago. Not the same player, obviously, but
Yeah.
kind of like that type of player. Hard to predict. I mean, he's still relatively right. I mean, and not super young, but enough he'll get a multi-year deal. So I don't know.
All right.
Honestly,
Odell Beckham Jr.
Rams for sure.
Yeah, he'll resign. I mean,
all right. Yeah, I can agree. And do you think a team will take a chance on Antonio Brown?
On who you cut out?
Antonio Brown.
No, he's done.
Maybe a USFL team that's trying to sell tickets.
Yeah, actually, and I'm with Link now. Actually, yeah.
All right. Devondre Campbell.
No idea. I'm not even gonna attempt to guess because like he was so bad before he joined Green Bay. It's not even funny.
I think Green Bay will probably pull off some cap bullshit and keep him around.
They better not. Honestly, I'd be okay with that because he's like such an obvious regression candidate.
What about you, Link?
Pass.
All right.
Yeah.
No.
Link and I are basically riding the same boat from now on.
All right. Akeem Hicks.
I have no idea. Defensive linemen, defense interiors especially are like impossible to predict. Especially one like Hicks, who's been so inconsistent and injured the last few years.
Yeah.
Isn't he coming off injury?
Kinda. But he still was injury and regression.
Maybe.
But ever since the 12-win season, he just has not been the same, which can be said about most of the players on that Bears defense, but he definitely got hit the hardest, or close to the hardest, I would say.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know either. I just wanted to see if anyone had some ideas. I'll just name some other big free agents, so let's just not try to predict them though. Marcus Williams, Ryan Jensen, Brandon Scherf, Manuel Ogba, Melvin Ingram, Casey Hayward, Michael Gallup, Calais Campbell, Hassan Reddick, Dwayne Brown, Cordell Patterson, Rob Gronkowski, Justin Houston, Connor Williams, Jerry Hughes, Juju Smith-Schuster, Marcus Mays, Ben Jones, I think, Teddy Bridgewater, DJ Chark, Quandre Diggs, Morgan Moses. But okay, let's here's one I'll offer one last one we'll do predictions for. Jameis Winston.
Pat hopefully goes to Packers. That's what we want. We want him QB1 there. But for real, honestly, he might go back to the Saints. I could see it.
Yeah, I can see it as well. I think it's to be like the Saints or the Steelers.
Yeah, I could see Steelers. I don't even know. I don't know if the Steelers are gonna go. I don't know. I'm still not sold on them really going after Pickett at pick 20, but it's the Steelers, so honestly, not improbable.
Already
Yeah.
picked the. They're gonna pick Pickett, aren't they? No, they could. Um, I'm trying to think because like honestly, I mean, I'm thinking like Winston is not like my when I think free agent quarterback. I mean, I think there's teams that are more willing to take a chance on Bridgewater than Winston because I mean he wasn't super horrible last year with the Broncos. I mean he's just now in a position because I mean he won't be able to retain his position because well of course Russell Wilson's going there. But I mean, I don't know. I think I'm trying to think right now. The Saints, I don't know, maybe. I mean, they're kind of in a weird situation with how much cap room they have to work with and like how much money they can throw around.
Yeah.
But I have no idea.
Mhm. Shall we adjourn to a different sport here?
Yeah, so we got I guess the playoff races. They're going on in both basketball and hockey. So what do we want to take away first? Here.
You guys can start with hockey. I'm sitting this one out. I'm not as well tuned as you guys are on this one.
Link, I'll let you take over first.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's nothing. I mean, here's the thing about like hockey. It's way less. I mean, I feel like it's way less interesting on one side of the continent. Like the Eastern Conference is basically set. It's. I mean, I don't think there's good. I don't really think there's a chance that either Columbus, Detroit, or New York have any chance to make. I mean, considering we're almost at the end of the month, they have to overcome what I think they're 15 points. Oh, I think each of them are 15 points behind Washington for the last slot. There's no way. So the Western Conference though is very interesting. I think that's and Nashville is right in the middle of it, which that's a really what an exciting time. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, it's honestly weird. I think Colorado they've got their. I mean they are definitely getting in the playoffs because they are 100% cheating. The Blues, I think, aren't they starting to slip a bit? I think they might be, but I mean they're still they still got a good. They don't have a really big cushion right now, but they're still safe. Calgary, they're another team that I could see that's definitely in a safe spot right now, and so is Los Angeles, which is man, I'm really happy about that Arvidsson trade, how that turned out for Los Angeles. The
Yeah.
rest really are just a bunch of big question marks. Minnesota, those one of the teams that got off to. I think they um that's a team that I felt like had a lot of really high expectations, but they're just starting to just I don't know. I mean, they're good, but not super special.
Yeah.
And other team that's in the mix, Nashville, of course. Um, we're starting to finally get some consistency because I mean, like I said before the All Star break, um, this team didn't win a game, and now we are string. I mean, the past few games we've strung together good wins against Dallas. We beat
Yeah.
San Jose 8-0, so that should really tell you what happened there. Um, Wish we would have beat Tampa though. When I went to the Stadium Series game, that was a lot of fun. Um, One team that's really like I find kind of weird is Edmonton because like, of course, they have Connor McDavid. With Connor McDavid, you're gonna win, but it's just like, good God, I just don't know. I mean, that's like the only thing they really have in terms of anything is the fact that they have Connor McDavid and Drysdale. They got really good offense production. Everything else just sucks. It's
Yeah.
kind of how it's been. and I don't know why, but I mean it's going to take a while for them to fix it, but they're still in the playoff hunt. Dallas is still crawling in there. Vancouver has really they've woken up ever since
The
head
coaching
started.
train.
Yeah, ever since head started rolling, they've woken up. They're a solid squad. Anaheim is not far behind them. Who's I guess the rebuild's over for them. How what a quick turnaround they've lucked in on. Um, Winnipeg, I'm not 100% on Winnipeg, honestly. Just not. I mean, yeah, I guess I'll leave it at that. The
Yeah.
rest of the Eastern Conference or the Western Conferences, I mean, I think they're just way too far out of the race. I don't think anyone's expecting San Jose or Chicago to have any sort of, big April push to get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And the less said about Arizona and Seattle, the better. But I guess a real weird thing that's we could talk about is just there's been really no big trade line rumors or news at all.
Yeah.
I mean, there was Forsberg for that little bit, but I mean, that was about it in
Yeah.
terms of it feels like teams are playing it safe this year.
Yeah. And you're talking about the West, and for the Eastern Conference, it's not really a race at all, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, every team has basically locked up their position. They're just fighting for seeding at this point.
Yeah, because I believe the current eight, I think the Bruins passed the Capitals, who are now the eight. They are like 15, 20 points ahead of ninth. I think that's Columbus, or is it Detroit? I don't know. Look, the race is over. You can't unless there's like some magical collapse. It's not happening. Uh, so feels like with the
I
East,
don't
it's
think
just
so.
a battle for seeding, and there are some seeds that feel more comfortable than others. I feel pretty good about the Hurricanes taking the Metro. Things can change, but um, the Atlantic, though, that's a big battle. I mean, the Panthers are in really good position right now. The Lightning are. I mean, but the Leafs and the um, Bruins just need a hot streak, or either of those twos to really have a slip, and things can change. I said the Canes. I feel good about them winning the division. They could still slip and lose it, but they are still in good position nonetheless. The Penguins and the Rangers at this point, I mean, it really feels like those two are fighting for home ice advantage against each other. Even if the Capitals could push up, but yeah, it's really those teams, and there are teams that are going to end the year with solid seasons, but that like Columbus and Detroit, but they aren't going to come close to a playoff spot. Um, but
Shit, you'll talk about the Leafs, man. How about Austin Matthews? He's
yeah,
really damn good.
he's
He
on
is.
fire. My fantasy team
He
is grateful for him.
uh, I mean, I bet. He's putting up good. I mean, he's on a historic trajectory this season.
Yeah, I mean, there's a good case to be made that he deserves the Hart Trophy, and I could say the same thing about Jonathan Huberdeau, of the Florida Panthers. Feel like those two would be my favorites at the moment. Um, and I mean, why not? I mean, they are just great, and as for just players that are joys to watch, Alex DeBrincat is always a joy to watch.
Good for
Wanted to
you.
shout out just a
It's
player on
Tanner
my team.
Sherrill,
Yeah.
and he's so fun to watch. Jesus, I mean, I love the fact that he's on the Predators. Good
But
core scorer, and he whoops people's ass. There you go.
anyways,
Um,
I guess that's what we have on for the National Hockey League. So let's go
I
with
think. Oh,
unless you have
I guess we can
something
talk about.
else. You have something else, and go ahead.
Oh yeah. Give a bit of news that relates to the NHL. They're starting to, or this is a thing that broke a couple days ago, but they're no longer doing business with KHL for the time being. This does affect the pipeline in some players, aka fucking Askarov, who's the next big thing in the NHL. Well, he may not even get to play for the Predators if
Yeah, it's insane.
yeah.
But
But I mean, yeah, I mean, a lot of people. I mean, I've seen people like when I complained about, it, I was like, oh, you have Saros. This is such a first world problem. But like, Askarov going to be like special, right? He ain't going to be just another starting. Like I mean, he's what? He's got like a 940 save percentage, but like, and he's under 20.
yeah, he
It's
might be 20
crazy.
now, but yeah.
Or right, still before legal United States drinking age.
He is
That's
yeah,
how.
he is absolutely under the legal drinking age, yeah.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's gonna suck if we actually have to get if we have to terminate his contract or can't work out a deal to get him over to the states. So that's going to affect a couple other players. I don't really know. I mean, off the top of my head because I don't follow other teams' prospect, their pools and the system and whatnot. But hey,
Yeah.
I think that Other than that, I think that's all I can talk about for the NHL. I did briefly mention the Stadium Series, which was a big event. Uh, we could talk.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess like the other thing that happened today, Eichel returned to Buffalo, and received the Buffalo welcome, if you will.
A lot of booze, that's for sure.
A lot of booze,
And he
and
had some pretty bitter comments about at the end, talking about how it seems like they miss me and whatnot. Mr. Jack Eichel, you did not contribute to any goals today, and two of them were scored by players that happen to be traded for you, Peyton Krebs and Alex Tuck. So, kind of crazy.
yeah, I think it's Should we move on to the National Basketball Association? Because I feel like the NBA playoff race is way more interesting than half the NHL's.
NBA's is indeed interesting. There's just a lot of on both sides. It's just there's a lot of good teams, and then there's a lot of especially with the play-in now. It's just
Yeah, the
especially in the
play-in is
East.
like
It's
you know you
it's hell.
yeah the play-in is really like it's kind of made the
Yeah,
playoff race
it's
fun.
clawing your way to the top basically. Just see who can come out the finest there. But
And I think I want to kind of start with the West in the NBA.
yeah, I think it's about easier to start with the West because it's more top heavy.
So the Warriors and the Suns and the Jazz, I mean, they're kind of running away with those top seeds.
Well, I mean, the
Well,
Grizzlies.
Grizzlies, hey,
okay.
whoa,
Oh yeah, the Grizzly. Well, okay. The Jazz and the Grizzlies are kind of close together, right? Um, and there are some
they
teams.
are.
I
Hold on, I may check that for you.
I want to just look because okay, I know the
I thought the
Suns.
Grizzlies
The
were
Suns.
solidly better. I could be wrong.
The Suns are like far and away, I think,
Yeah,
ahead.
I don't
And
know.
then
Suns
okay,
are
yeah,
number one.
it's then the Grizzlies and the Warriors are close together because the Warriors have not been hot at all.
Yeah, they've been skidding.
And then
Yeah,
4 through 6 are all close together, and they can all realistically catch the Grizzlies or Warriors, and they can all realistically fall into the play-in because there is another team that's very close and hot behind them. However, all like 4 through 7, and obviously whoever 7 is a play-in team as it stands right now are all hot. Those teams are, of course, the Jazz, who are an excellent team. Really a team. The Mavs and Luka Ball since the new year have been taking the Mavs places and getting them a lot of wins. Um, if you want to, I don't think he's the MVP of the league, and I'll get to who I think is the MVP in the league in a second because he plays for the sixth place team. But because I don't think he's truly the best player. But I think if you want to talk about a guy who, if it wasn't for the guy who I'm going to mention next, might be carrying his team the hardest, it has to be Luka Doncic because my God, that supporting cast it has guys that do their roles well, but there is no stars around them at all. and for him to be taken this far. And you know what? That would be true. And I don't think he's really an MVP candidate. I mean, I wouldn't have like, but I would, but the guy next, I think he's leading his Denver Nuggets to, my God, an injured Denver Nuggets to a pretty good season. Nikola Jokic, who to me, I think he's the best player in the whole league. And I don't
He
think it's,
probably is,
I
but I don't
don't,
think he'll win MVP again.
I think he should. I think he
I think
should.
he should, but I don't think he will.
I don't think he will, but I think he should, and I think it should be unanimous. Honestly, I don't.
Well, I mean, the unanimous thing's a whole different story, but
It should be
it's so
close.
hard to win MVP
I
back in basketball if you don't have like a huge story attached to it, and the Nuggets might not even get out of the play-in, so that's gonna be
yeah.
tricky.
I mean, they could, but look, to me, no Jamal Murray, no Kevin Porter Jr. This squad is injured. Like the Mavericks with
Well, I
Luca.
mean, MPJ. You say what you will, I guess. I was never super high on him, but yeah, I mean, Jamal's pretty big loss.
Look, the Mavericks and Luca. Yeah, that was a pretty poorly like constructed roster around him. You know, they made a lot of mistakes, and the first and second Porzingis trade, whatnot. This one, the Nuggets are a very different circumstance. They have a good roster around Jokic. They can win championships when they're healthy, but they're not, and he's still carrying that roster to just the playoff positions to begin with. And that is like all Jokic. He is insane. He, to me, is the best in the league. I feel very confident with that. And he's great. And that's kind of what I meant. Um, I think Joel Embiid is probably going to win the MVP. I still think it should be Jokic. I think Embiid is second place. Um, him or
Mhm.
Giannis.
I'm
But
not mad with honestly either one. I think this MVP race is probably the best we've had in quite a while.
I would normally be inclined to agree, but I think Jokic is just so good that I can't even call it one in my book. But it is because the voters are making it out to be one, which I just can't get behind. And that's for the Nuggets, and then for the play-in spots, 7 through 10 get it. It's really a competition between, well, the team that's currently pretty comfortably ahead, the Timberwolves, who have been really good. Anthony Edwards is really taking a big step forward. I'm a big
Timberwolves are
fan.
like I think they're heavy playoff sleepers in the West. I'll be quite honest with you.
I
Like
re-
this,
they have
I
high
could
end
I could
talent.
see them make like a conference finals push.
Yeah, they have the high end talent to knock teams out in the playoffs, and they have I love the step forward Anthony Edwards has taken. I think D'Angelo Russell has played really well in a different role.
I
His
think
D
even if you look at I'm just sorry to cut you off, Salt. Even if you look at guys like on the defensive end, which has been a huge problem for the Timberwolves the past few years, ever since Jimmy Butler left. If you look at Jared Vanderbilt, I mean, guys like him are just they're really well built to they're really put together, right?
Yeah,
Which is
and I was gonna say
super.
D'Angelo Russell suddenly becoming a really good defender has been a big part in their resurgence as a defensive, as a quality defense, top 10 in the league, I think. Um,
Mhm.
and of course, the man that the build around has started, that whether you can argue if Anthony Edwards can usurp the guy label in the future. I think Timberwolves fans would be happy with either being that guy. Karl Anthony Towns, he's been excellent this year, and that coaching change that they made halfway through last year has gone a real long way for them. Jesus, that was a brilliant hire. Um,
Yeah,
and it showed last year. Even they were playing well. And Anthony Edwards took a step forward in that half last year after the change, and then this year he continues to develop. They continue to improve. So good on the Wolves. It's pretty awesome to see them take a step forward as a team. And then you have the Clippers, who are over 500. Um, Obviously different pieces in it, but it's kind of similar to the Clippers of old because both Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are out. Kind of like those 2 years when they didn't have Paul and Griffin, or George and Kawhi, where they were a playoff team, but they needed those superstars. But they could be back. for the playoffs. Not so sure about Kawhi, but Paul George for sure. And having Paul George is really good because Paul George can give you some insane performances. Um, in the next playing spot, you kind of have it's kind of kind of a battle now. You have the Lakers and the Pelicans. Um, Obviously, I think it's 10 teams that get in the play-in, right?
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
Or yeah.
and there's also the Trailblazers who are kind of there, but nah,
Nah, they're finished. They
they're
suck.
they're done. Yeah.
They're
Uh,
cooked. They're out of there.
uh,
Later, scared.
but I mean, they're yeah, and they're gonna try, but it's not gonna it's not gonna work. But the Lakers and the Pelicans, I would say I would feel pretty good about them being the last two teams in. The Lakers
Mhm.
being a very massive disappointment. LeBron James and Anthony Davis both inconsistent in health. Davis is
I
consistent
mean,
in
yeah,
play.
LeBron has really tried to get that team going, but it's just
That three
supporting cast
West,
is rough. And
yeah,
yeah, the Westbrook fiasco, which I
Westbrook.
mean, it's
He
just
ain't working.
there's nothing I can say on it that hasn't already been said or needs to be said.
Yeah, and yeah, as for the Pelicans, they have a whole fiasco of their own with Zion not being there, but they could still, make the play. And Brandon Ingram has done well there. I mean, they have Valanciunas. Um, of course, they're making a change without Lonzo. They had to adjust with that, and it's admirable that with all of the losses that they've taken, that they are looking to be in the play-in. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much on that front. Then we can go to the East. Um,
East is fun because basically the top six, there's like barely anything separating on any of them.
so I'll just start with my Bulls. It's been a rough stretch.
The lack of defense is really starting to show up, and the offense has taken a hit. Now with the offense taking a hit, the defense is just cascading with it.
It would be nice if we had our two elite perimeter defenders healthy, wouldn't it?
It would be,
It would also
but
be would also be nice if our center wasn't a fat, lazy European shit.
oh my god, dude, you're hysterical, man. You're hysterical.
Look, man, look, okay, look. I like Vucevic. He contributes. He does things well. He's not a liability like some Bulls fans claim he is. But like,
Dude, Bulls fans would have you think that he's like the reason that we're skidding, which is hysterical. Like, I don't even think the Bulls would be in the like if they'd be like the 10th seed if we didn't have Vucevic this year.
but look,
Like they would 100% be in the play-in at best.
okay, let's not go that far, cause like,
I would most certainly go that far.
but I mean, like,
Considering what's separating them, I would most certainly.
and maybe Vucevic has won us like 3 or 4 games. I wouldn't say like 10 seed
3 or
though.
4 is good enough to knock us off into the play-in.
Is it? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, playing, but I'm talking like 10 seed, not really.
All right. Well, 10 seed, you gotta exaggerate for dramatic effect a little bit, but most certainly the center depth in the Bulls is so bad,
Yeah,
and
I get it, but
the fact that Vucevic still is on there
Tristan
is
Thompson is
admirable, and
terrible,
the fact
man.
that he's been good even is good
Look,
because
Tristan
he's a good player.
Thompson is terrible. Oh my god. But look, yeah, I give Vooch too much shit, but like, I feel like we need. I feel like I like him. I think he's good, but I feel like I want like I feel like we kind of need like a Miles Turner kind of. I feel like.
I disagree. I feel like people bring that argument up too much, and it's just it's a little bit annoying because I think Vucevic is a capable center defender when you have guys clogging the lanes, and I would much rather have Vucevic's offense than Miles Turner's.
Look, I agree. I'm not saying that we need one over the other. I'm just saying that like we need our second center to not be Tristan fucking Thompson.
Yeah, that is definitely what we need. I
Uh
think if you're gonna fault Vucevic for something, I think what's most valid is the 3-point shooting because I think it's not his pick and pop game not being reliable is really hurting us.
yeah, I
Um,
agree.
Offense
That's
with those capabilities because his screen setting is not as reliable. because he's not like a guy like Steven Adams who you can set up a slasher like Morant for, and you just drive him to the hoop because this is a guy who's moving all over the floor. Like he can get in the paint and get that hook shot, or he can go outside and shoot a three, but the 3-point shooting has just not been there. And I think that I honestly think that's his most. That's the biggest thing you can critique him for.
Yeah, I agree. The 3-point shooting is frustrating. It's not there. But I also kind of want to say, um, we it's been so frustrating looking at at the end of the game, just watching the games, even look at the end of games, you look at the stat sheets and you're just seeing other teams' guards going off on us and you're just wondering, man, we need Lonzo, we need Caruso because
Yeah,
it's just atrocious. It's just atrocious because look, Levine, his defense isn't it. Io can only be there for there for so long, and you want to maximize Io by coming off the bench. You don't want to force him too much in the role. Obviously, Kobe White is not a good defender by any means, and so
and his offense has become less reliable too.
yeah. You kind of need that, but
Just avoid the skid and hope you can survive until they come back because they have a rough schedule coming up. I don't think they'll be in the play-in by the season's end, but I do think they need some stuff to work on because I
yeah,
could definitely see them fall into the 6th seed.
yeah. But in the East, the Heat are the top seed right now. Things are going good for them. They're playing some good ball. The Bucks are the 2 seed. Fuck Grayson Allen.
Amen.
But Giannis is playing excellently. The 3 seed, big story, obviously with Harden in. Sixers, who just got destroyed by the Nets, who are the 8 right now, who will probably rise as time goes on. But
Yeah,
yeah, the Sixers currently, they are yeah, I mean they have generally, other than today, been playing some good ball. Embiid, the other MVP candidate right now, who yeah, I
and being
think
hard was really nasty, so we'll just have to see how it sticks
yeah.
because
I,
you want
I, I
you
do
have
gotta say though, how can you not sleep through a Sixers game with how many fouls they draw, bruh?
yeah, Embiid is a really I mean he's a master at it. The guy's enormous and he draws fouls like point guards do.
The Celtics have been on fire as of late. Jason Tatum, he's played excellently. I mean, we got to put Jason Tatum's name in that top 10 discussion for
I
sure.
feel like if Tatum regresses slightly, that team is due for an imminent collapse though. But their defense is really good, so that's basically their thing right
Yeah,
now.
but even then, I think Tatum, I think his name is in the top 10 conversation. I don't think we can.
It's been in the top 10 conversation for 2 years at least at this point, I
But
would
I
say.
would say now I feel confident. Like now, before, there were very valid reasons to not put him in there. Not because he wasn't good enough, but because there were just better guys. But now, like, I don't think you can sideline him anymore. I feel like.
I got you. No, I got you. I got you.
Um, of course, you have the Cavs who have taken a big jump this year. Excellent team. Darius Garland, an awesome player, who I would say right now is their best guy.
Mm.
They got Jared Allen, who's an elite defender, gives them some quality offense, and the rookie Evan Mobley, um, who's been pretty good. Obviously, they have some other pieces like Laurie Markkinen and a possible Sixth Man of the Year winner and Kevin Love. Um, they
But
got they
Darius
got
Garland
Karis
is just
LeVert.
I just gotta give Garland props because he's having such a fantastic season and coming off. I mean, I don't want to say like coming off a rough 2 years because point guards are naturally takes more time to develop, but he's really coming to his own this year and he's a very good player.
Yeah.
So I gotta give him props. He's a huge part of this team.
Yeah. I mean, he could be top 20. I'm not saying he is, but he could be.
Garland, yeah, I'm not there yet, but I could
And I,
very well
I
see
and I'm
him
saying
there.
right now. I'm saying right now. I'm going as far as say right now. It's
I mean,
possible.
honestly, I'm not there, but you know what? You do you, man. I'm not gonna really argue with because he's so young and he is very good so far. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Great team, and they have an excellent future. I mean, Evan Mobley's a guy that can be one of the guys in the NBA. Darius Garland can be one of the point guards. Maybe the guys, but one of the point guards in the NBA for sure. And
Yeah.
you obviously have a defensive maestro and Jared Allen and some other quality pieces. And maybe if Colin Sexton comes back a really good scorer, he'd probably be there. That's, I don't know if they want him off the bench if he comes back or, at shooting guard, but that could be an interesting dynamic to have. But um, you must be happy, even if he got hurt and didn't play there long, as like a Vandy fan link to see Garland do as well as he's doing. Um, Link. Oh,
Oh,
We
all
bored
right,
Link out of his mind
sorry,
tomorrow.
that was experiencing some interruptions, but yeah, it is. Yes, sir. Anchor down.
um,
Yes, sir.
yeah, I believe he was Vandy's highest ever rated recruit, right?
Probably. Wouldn't surprise me.
I honestly don't know.
I'd assume so, but yeah, the next is the Raptors, who have also kind of they'd had a more swift rebuild. It kind of did feel like last year was more of a just down, but Fred Van Vliet is really good. Scotty Barnes has been a good rookie. Siakam has played better this year. There's some quality in Toronto. We kind of talked about the Nets already and how they now have Ben Simmons and Seth Curry and the different group that I'd say that trading Harden was kind of a lateral move for them. Well, they do give up the star man. They do get good players and can address their weaknesses. The Hornets, um, they're a team that's on the up with Lamelo and Bridges. Lamelo has been a joy to watch, and that's a guy like Garland who he's trending up, and he can be a superstar. And in the last playing spot, the Atlanta Hawks, who I think as time goes on, I think they're going to get some separation from the Wizards and the Knicks. I don't feel either team are going to actually make it. I mean, yeah, maybe that Porzingis is playing. Maybe the Wizards could get something going, but I feel doubtful. I think Beal is out, and I mean, with the Hawks, it's just a matter of getting hot, with guys like Trey and whatnot. So we'll
Mhm.
see. But yeah, that's just the landscape of the NBA. Pretty interesting race there.
Indeed.
But I guess now we have one more sport left. Um, the lockout is over.
And what good thing. We were supposed to record like on Wednesday. Good thing we didn't because this broke today.
Yeah, and Steven, I'll let you start with just any thoughts in general.
I'm just glad it's over. I mean, I think a lot of people thought that it was going to end soon, and I think that the MLB was kind of hoping it would. I know they put on a smokescreen with canceling the 4 series that they're going to make up through doubleheaders and off days, but it's good to have baseball back. I mean, honestly, it's a lot. There's been a lot of just like back and forth going on, and everyone, and it's just I tried to stay back the last few weeks and just let whatever happens happen, and I'm just glad we got rewarded with this.
Yeah,
It really is. It's validating, and I'm excited that we're gonna get spring training tomorrow, or reports tomorrow. They're gonna report tomorrow at least, so um, I'm pumped about that.
Yeah, spring training's gonna only be what about 2-3 weeks? About
I think so. They're gonna push opening day back. I think to like the 14th, so it might be a little bit longer.
Mhm.
I don't know. It's just like I don't know if I wasn't expecting the '94 lockout with this year, but I was expecting it to go a bit longer. There were some issues,
I
and
didn't think it was gonna be that bad, but honestly, it wouldn't have surprised me at that point.
it's just like I don't know about y'all, but I just don't feel like a lot was accomplished here. I feel like a lot of the stuff was like some of the arbitrary stuff that was like definitely you know like the universal DH, right? That you don't need a lockout to you don't need a lockout to do that. That's just a space rule
Yeah.
thing. Banning the shift, which I'm
not a fan. Like I don't care. I don't care as much as others do, but I'm not a fan of it.
I don't mind it that much, honestly.
I find it just completely stupid.
Like
I think people are freaking out about it. Like everyone's like, "Oh well, it's like banning zone coverages in the NFL." No, it's like banning being able to throw down players in the NFL. Let's like making that a penalty. Like it's not that big of a deal, and people are just way too freaked out over it.
I understand
my biggest question.
I understand why it's stupid, but like I don't care that much. It raises the entertainment value, so
it's a fun strategy. It's just I don't think it's a big deal.
My biggest question to this is how they gonna enforce it. They haven't really.
That's true. How. That's what we're waiting to hear. That's what we're gonna wait to hear.
Like, is it gonna be an automatic walk? I mean, is there gonna be ejection? Will the players have to stand on like little pads that mark their spot, like in Little League practice? I mean, I don't know.
They'll have like general areas, I'd say, and they'll just go through there because you can't police it too extensively. You know what a shift is when you see it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I wonder if the strategic shift will still be around, where you like just move guys slightly here and there. I wonder if they're still going to have that because the shift is like
my assumption.
Strategic. I don't know if I don't think they'll be able to ban that.
Yeah,
I mean, they might, but I don't think
my assumption is like so. What I'd assume is that you're just not going to see the third baseman come onto the right side of the field anymore. That's just it.
Yeah.
You'll still see maneuvers from the third baseman in other positions, generally where he would normally be. You'll still see the shortstop and the second baseman possibly go across. That's going to be who it's more tricky. The middle infielders seeing what they can do. And then the first baseman, the first baseman really doesn't shift that much because you need him on the bag. So it's really just the third baseman that I think will have the most effect from, because the second baseman, the shortstop, generally just do the strategic shifts. Because sometimes you'll see the third just in the middle or kind of towards the outfield. But yeah.
But what else was there? What were the change? I'm trying to think.
I think there's something with the luxury tax, right? That was a big one.
I think the luxury tax got bumped by 20 million, which, yeah, all right. That was, I mean, that was a big goal.
It's about 20 million, yeah. Maybe 15.
Which, you know what, that's fine.
They didn't implement the international draft, right?
They did.
I think they gave the option. I think they're going to talk about it, and if they find some way, like if they agree to not have it, they'll keep the qualifying offer system, and if they don't, they'll put it in the international draft.
Okay.
Or if they want to eliminate the qualifying, like they have that. I think that's the. I
would absolutely hope that there is no international draft because.
We'll see. That's like a whole weird thing.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm glad there's no hard salary cap. Sucks that there's no floor, but that's just something you can't really expect.
Exactly. The small market owners would just literally just be enraged. Like just sell the team to the thought of it.
Yeah, well, that's how it be. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, the 12. We have a 12-team playoff now, which
I don't really mind that. Honestly, I think the new format
is it being implemented this year?
I think so. I wonder who thought of that idea. Which side?
Honestly, the new format isn't that bad. I think. Like I don't really.
So what's the format?
10 to 12 teams. I think it's gonna be top 3 seeds as usual, but the 1 seed gets to choose who it plays between 4, 5, and 6, and then the other 2 battle it out, and then 2 and 3 battle it out, and then 1 and whoever they choose battle it out.
Why should they choose? That seems so weird. Just the ability to choose, like.
I think I said it wrong because I don't know if they'll be able to match up like that, but I know they want to do it like similar to how football does it, or some aspect like that.
I feel like with choosing your opponent, I would like That would be so embarrassing to choose your opponent and lose. Like, be careful
Like,
what you
I think
wish
the one
for.
seed gets a bye too. Yeah, that might be
If
it.
it's like that, if it's like the bye, that makes sense. But yeah,
We'll
I'm
see
trying to
how it
think,
goes.
like, if they're gonna do it like the NFL, that would mean the top 2 division winners get a bye, and then wild card weekend is the lowest seeded, the lowest.
I think they'll determine it by standings now. I don't know if they'll do it by division anymore.
I just kind of hate that now we're gonna see some fucking mediocre ass teams in the playoffs, and this is gonna reward teams that.
I mean, there were already 5 teams who made the playoffs from each league, so 6. It's not that much of a change.
Oh, I know, but I'm just saying because like this is gonna reward teams like the Angels and the Phillies who just throw money and don't have any process behind it.
Mets. Yeah, that's right. And
You're hysterical, Link. You know that.
they're also removing the 163rd game and doing just straight up tiebreakers.
Oh, that's sad. I like the
Which
163rd game.
Yeah, which that sucks because I mean there've been some of course great moments.
Nah, game 163 gives me PTSD.
Oh yeah,
I'm okay with it.
I was about to say, Steven, I mean I know you don't like the
Wait.
163rd game.
Oh, okay, I remember now.
Yeah, I'm good with it. I hate it. I don't care. Oh, did you guys see? I forgot who tweeted this, but like the new thing now is with the scheduling is that each team is now going to have to play every team in a season.
I like that. I like that move a lot.
I really like that. I really like that. Like that's sick.
Yeah, way
I've
too.
wanted to
Look,
play more American League teams for so long.
like look, there's been, and I like that it's cutting into division games too, because I understand division games being the ones you play the most.
Divisional matchups get so boring in September, dude. Like literally, like
It's like-
Cubs Cardinals in September is a snooze fest.
Like why? But like, there's way too many of them. Like I think, look, man,
Exactly.
it's fun playing. Look, look, playing the Diamondbacks and the Rockies are fun, but I want to have some variation in who I play. You know,
You know what? I'm gonna be completely honest. I thought they already played everyone like at least once in a series. I'm gonna be. I don't know.
Nah, they get a select
teams,
opposite league
you're-
division and everyone in their league.
Also, if there's a crosstown rivalry, then they get that regardless of
And
the
that,
division
yeah.
they play.
Oh, okay. Well,
Well, it could
The
be
Braves don't have
it could be
crosstown.
cross state because I think because in some
the
cases
Braves don't have.
because I think the Cardinals and the Royals always play each other. I'm not sure about the. Yeah, I think those two always played each other, and that was more of a cross state thing. But like Giants, A's, Dodgers, Angels, White Sox, Cubs, Yankees, Mets. Those always got exemptions and always played each other. But yeah, I like this. You have 162 games. There's no excuse to not be able to play every team.
Exactly.
Yeah, like I said, I honestly that was why I was like, oh, yeah, they didn't already do that, huh? Well then, shows me how much I know. But
All right, and is that kind of what we have with the CBA? Is there anything more?
I don't
Basically.
I think there was a bump in the minimum salary. And
There's a little bit of a bump, and they got the pre-art pool now to reward players for their performance.
And with the agreement, the MLBPA had to drop that lawsuit for COVID.
Oh, did they? I did not know that.
Yes.
Gotcha. Good to know.
So, and I also think the last thing was they agreed not to contract any more minor league teams, which that's a little bit too late considering, well, they just restructured minor league baseball last year.
At least they're not going to do it further, man. I'm just happy about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess now free agency. Oh boy, no moves have happened yet. But,
it's gonna be a frenzy. I feel like in a few days at least.
Oh ho ho ho! So
I feel like nothing has happened right now because people or teams would be like,
they don't want to get.
They want to avoid tampering. Yeah,
they want to avoid tampering investigations. But
I agree with Link.
All right, Steven, I hate to break it to you, but Correa will be a Dodger. All right.
Yeah, bro, he'll be a Dodger.
Nope, he'll be in Dodger blue.
That was clever.
Yeah, bro, he'll be Dodger blue.
Nope, he'll be wearing our blue.
Funny.
Maybe in the new film Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, but in the place we call the real world, he's gonna be wearing Cubby blue.
Nope. Dodger blue.
I don't think so, pal. Don't think so. My sources say no.
Well, in the end, both of our rings were more legitimate than the Braves.
That is true. That is true. People forget
What,
this.
you're agreeing?
Yup.
Well, you know what? I mean, that's why Correa's going to be a Mariner.
Dude, I cannot believe all of our teams have had one rings in the last 6 years. That's crazy.
That is kind of crazy.
Thank God, at least we have one sport that makes us happy.
Yeah, totally not like my team. Got shot on in both NLCSs that you guys won.
What can we say? It's a year-long tradition.
Okay, to be
It's an
fair,
age-old tradition, right, Link?
To be fair, the 2016 Cubs were definitely the best team in baseball. There was no way.
Yeah, they were pretty yoked.
And then we kind of got you back the next year.
I know, because we were pretty mid.
Well, I would say you were good. You just weren't as good.
Okay, man. Salt on the wound over here. I guess that's where it gets the name.
Yeah. Wait, I'm gassing the 2017 Cubs up. What can I say?
I appreciate it. I really do.
But I'll be gassing the 2024 Cubs up too because that'll be a movie.
That's gonna be the era right there. 2024 Cubs Dodgers NLCS. Gonna be nasty.
Yeah, especially with Correa and Dodger blue.
Keep telling yourself that,
Well,
buddy.
I mean,
Keep telling yourself.
I have to worry about Freeman and pinstripes.
Yeah, I was just about to say Link's over here. Man, you guys talking about Correa? I'm over here hoping Freeman comes back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was hoping. I mean, we have to go. We have to potentially get in a bidding war with the team that's willing to spend a lot of money. A lot of money, and Liberty Media is pretty cheap about that. So I honestly, I expect it's in my head right now. It's a 60-40 in favor to the Yankees.
But don't the Braves also have isn't Freddie also offering the Braves a discount, and not like an insane discount, but it's give me this much money and I'll sign for you or something. I remember that back in October before the lockout started in November.
Yankees fans calling about Andrelton Simmons on the timeline. No surprise there.
I don't honestly remember. That was on November.
But yeah,
Dang.
I swear there was something Freeman could take a certain amount of money to stay with the Braves. They just aren't offering it to him for some reason. Obviously, the Dodgers or the Yankees would need more to sign him than that money. But yeah, looking forward to a really good season. As it gets closer, we'll do some predictions.
Indeed, gonna be a fun 2 weeks.
Kind of crazy how our first episode was predictions for last year at the end, and yeah, we're getting to a year, so we'll try to do 30 before we get to 1 year.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what was our? When was our? It was about in March.
March
right?
31st.
Well, I'll be.
What a year it's been. Love you, boys.
All right, yeah. So, I guess we'll just call it that for this episode. I know we usually do the bonus, but it's been kind of.
It's been a long one.
Yeah, so I kind of want to.
It's not like I wanted to talk about anything in the bonus.
Nor would I.
Well, do you?
Kinda.
I mean,
Can I give me 1 minute?
I'll give you 1
Just
minute.
1 minute.
I'll give you 1 minute.
All right. 3, 2, starting now. Not starting with NASCAR. I'm gonna start with the college basketball. Man, it's already shaping off to be a madness-filled month with all the tournaments going on. Vanderbilt actually beat Bama this week or today, so we're trying to make our last ditch effort for the playoff or the tournament. In terms of NASCAR, what Auto Club happened? Tires fell off the cars. Auto Club, and then Vegas happened, and tires fell off the car. And there were 2 back-to-back overtime finishes, which were wild. Let's see here, who won? It was Kyle Larson. And then it was who won last week? It was Bowman. Yeah, that was crazy. And then I forgot what race this is this week. What is it? Oh, it's Phoenix. Well, who cares? All right, that's it.
All right.
Time myself. So I may have been a little over, but whatever.
All right, so that'll be it. As always, pleasure recording with you guys, and thank you for listening. All right,
You too.
see you guys.
Good night.